Okay. Okay.
Good morning, sir. Pimplekar sir has joined the meeting. Good morning, sir. Welcome you.
Vartika. Vartika. अजून हा. अजून थोडा स्लो चालू आहे. अच्छा. काय करू? Okay.
हिमांशी बेस हिमांशी स्टार्ट करें
Start करूया.
Yes, ma'am, you can
हिमांशी
start.
बेस
Yes, ma'am, you
हा
can
हा
start.
येस ऐकू येतं. स्टार्ट बोलूया. हा स्टार्ट बोलू. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Respected speaker, Mr. Amol Pimblekar, sir, a certified financial planner, Honorable Chairperson of Gokhale Education Society, Nashik, Dr. S.V. Sant, Madam, our in charge principal, Dr. S.B. Karande, sir, Vice Principal, Dr. M.D. Auti, sir, Coordinator of Senior College, Mr. Mrunal Khopregade, sir, respected faculty members and student friends. I am Arnab Pawar, a student of first year accounting and finance, and it's my privilege to heartily and warmly welcome you to this occasion of Urja, the Transforming Youth, organized by the Department of Commerce. Before we begin today's session, I'll let you the brief highlight of today's event. The Urja, the Transforming Youth. The theme of day one was sustainable business practices, where we had privilege of hearing from an esteemed speaker, Mr. Sachin Adhikari, who had shared his valuable insights on this important topic. The session was inaugurated with the inspiring presidential address by Dr. S.V. Sant Madam, which set the tone for the entire event. Today, we are excited for another insightful session, and I'm sure you will find the discussion as interesting and as inspiring as the yesterday's one. It is truly wonderful to connect with all of you virtually for this insightful session of green finance. As we strive for sustainability, the role of finance in addressing climate change and environmental challenges has never been more important. Green finance is pivotal in building a sustainable future. Session, we aim to explore its sustainability, significance, importance, and impact. Before we begin, I kindly request everyone to keep their microphones on mute during the session for a smooth experience. Green finance is not just an investment, it is a commitment to our planet. It involves funding projects that promotes renewable energy, climate resilience, and eco-friendly infrastructure, from green bonds to sustainable banking to ESG investing. Each, e, green finance is reshaping the way the businesses and economics work. Without further delay, let's begin this exciting session. To introduce our esteemed speaker, I will now request Assistant Professor Nidhi Shah Madam to share a few words about Mr. Amol Pimplekar, sir.
Am I audible? Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is my privilege to introduce our esteemed guest today, Mr. Anmol Pemblekar, a certified financial planner with an impressive experience of 19 years in the field of financial industry. Mr. Pemplekar has had the opportunity to work with some of the leading financial institutions, starting his career as a business development manager and rising to the position of branch manager through his experience and dedication. In 2016, he took a significant step forward by establishing his own boutique financial advisory firm, Finnish Financial Services. Under his leadership, the firm has been committed to helping individuals and families achieve their financial planning goals. Through solution based need driven financial planning. His expertise covers key areas such as retirement planning, vacation planning, children's higher education planning, asset allocation, and wealth management. Beyond personal financial planning, Mr. Pemplekar is also a strong advocate for financial literacy. He has conducted money management sessions in various corporate organizations, empowering professionals with essential financial knowledge. Some of the esteemed organizations where he has conducted such sessions include Shield India, State, Venus Global Logistics, Aeron Pro Solutions, Mahindra and Mahindra, and Adani Transmissions. Today, we are fortunate to have him with us to share his insights on green finance, which will undoubtedly help us make informed and strategic financial decisions. On behalf of Gokhale College and Department of Accounting and Finance, I welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much. Should I start it? I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Yes, good morning, everybody. And first of all, thank you so much, Shri Bhausaheb Vartak College Arts, Commerce and Science, and for this Management Week Urja Transforming Youth 2025. You have given me the opportunity. So I really am delighted and very much thankful to Professor Dr. Auti sir and everyone here present here. So much has been said about me, so I will not waste further time. Would like to share the screen and start with the topic. Could you help me out in because I am not getting option for sharing my screen. Could you help me? Somebody? Hello? Pardon, sir?
Then he can share the screen.
Pardon, sir? तुमचा आवाज क्रॅक होत होता.
मेहता मॅडम पिंपळेकर सरांना co-host करून घ्या तुम्ही.
Yes, sir, 1 minute. Sir, please try now.
So still, I'm not able to share my screen.
Sir, now you're co-host, so now you can share the screen.
No, but this option is okay. Yes. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So just once again, I will brief myself. I am Amol Pimplekar, Certified Financial Planner and CCO of Finergis Financial Service. CCO means Chief change officer to bring some positive changes in your financial life. I'm with this industry for almost 20 years now, and last 8 years I have been in running my own identity name Synergies Financial Services. So today's topic is environmental sustainability and green finance, investing in our future. So, is it right to talk in between with Marathi, Hindi, English, or English only? Which language is preferred? Hello.
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. So, just beginning with the introduction to the topic, what is environmental sustainability? It refers to the practice of meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That is what कि आत्ताच्या गरजा है जो हमारी प्रेजेंट नीड्स है उसमें हम लोग सब कुछ ले लेंगे तो अगली जनरेशन को कुछ पास ऑन नहीं रहेगा सो इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग विद दैट वी शुड use our resources effectively, minimize the wastage, reducing the pollution, so that the future generation will be able to have a good standard of life, not financially, but environmentally. And absolutely, once they get a good life, they will have their own finances. So this is environmental sustainability. So what is green finance? So it involves financial investments and activities that support environmentally sustainable projects and initiatives. So there are many companies and we came across many pollution, air pollution, water pollution. So instead of going for that, it is advisable we go for green efficiency, green infrastructure, renewable energy. Instead of using fossil fuels, we can use alternate resources of energy. So accordingly, we should invest in such projects which will help to achieve environmental sustainability. So this is the core of our today's topic. Environmental sustainability and green finance are basically intermingled, and there are several reasons for why should we go for environmental sustainability. Environmental protection, one of the most important point in today's topic. The health of planet directly impacts all our living beings. Climate change, deforestation, pollution, and depletion of natural resources threatened by biodiversity and economic ecosystem services like clean air and water, which are essential for human survival. Prioritizing sustainability helps mitigate these risks. So basically, in nutshell, we should do all such things which will protect our environment, will have green earth, will have our future generation should not blame us for what we have left for them. Likewise, there is economic stability. Adopting green finances, investments are directed towards industrial projects that protect the environment. So it is again the same point. We should invest in such a fashion, in such, I mean, with such funds, which will finance the projects, which will have environmental sustainability, and so it is a green finance. Obviously, health and social equity is one of the important factors. Now, coming further, what is the state of our current environment? Here's an overview of some of major global environmental issues. Climate change. We obviously know there is heavy emission of CO2 in our air. There is pollution, burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. So we know the temperature is rising on our Earth, and the impact is global warming, which leads to hurricanes, floods, droughts, rising sea levels. So what we should do, we should immediately take an action which is required to reduce such emissions, switch to renewable energy. So my whole presentation, because environmental sustainability and green finance goes hand in hand. So ultimately, every kind of suggestion or urgency will take you to the green finance, and that's why environmental sustainability and green finance are two sides of same coin. Biodiversity loss. We all know कि because of overexploitation of our resources, poaching and overfishing, climate change हो रहा है, pollution बढ़ रहा है. So इसका impact ऐसा होता है कि biodiversity is essential for economic stability, human health and food security. So protecting endangered species, conserving habitats, reducing human impact on ecosystems are critical urgent measures we should take to conserve biodiversity loss. Again, pollution. Third point is pollution. Lot of industrial waste, improper waste, agricultural runoffs, plastic use of plastic, air pollution from vehicles and factories. So impact is obviously bad air, bad quality of air, not having enough potable water, soil quality is eroding, impacting food and agricultural sector. So we should reduce all these waste, transitioning to cleaner technologies, which will help us achieve a green environment. So fourth point, obviously, is deforestation. The cause is logging, agricultural, urbanization, and infrastructure development. So because of this, deforestation leads to loss of biodiversity, destruction of water cycles, and increased carbon emissions. And therefore, we need to protect existing forests, tree planting. What we are now taking initiative at much larger level. So these are some things which will combat for deforestation. Ocean degradation, overfishing, plastic waste. We know we have seen many pictures having groups cleaning all beaches and all those seashores and everything. And we are finding heavy plastic waste in that what we when we clean that seashore or beach, something like that. Sixth is water scarcity. About water scarcity, obviously, we live in India, we live in Mumbai, and we face a lot of water scarcity across Mumbai, across India. This is because of climate changes, overuse of water resources, bad water, pollution content water, and basically poor management for fresh water resources. So the impact is obviously millions of people worldwide are impacting. Agricultural is getting affected. Not drinking water is not available. Sanitation and good health is not available. So we should always conserve our resources, improve water management, conservation practices, and addressing pollutions, water pollution especially, keep and control and should have equitable access for clean water. Obviously, soil degradation is of the major factor. Overpopulation, which we are currently in India, also we are facing this huge problem of overpopulation, which will impact growth, particularly in developing nations like India, China. And so this what overpopulation does, we all know they will consume more and more natural resources and so to address this overpopulation problem, which affects growth and which affect indirectly or directly environmental stability. So family planning and sustainable consumption is crucial for containing this overpopulation. So we have seen this what causes environmental instability and what are the effects of environmental degradation. So we'll have a look at this quick. Carbon emission, one of the major problems. If you can see this chart from 1751 to 2020, so it is almost 70 years back, and this global carbon project in 2022, global emission from fossil fuels reached approximately 30.8 million metric tons. So basically, industrialization and other things, but major factor is industrialization, which is causing huge carbon emission and which is affecting our global health, global warming. So increase over a time. So this another line says the from 22 billion metric tons of emission in 1990 to recently 40 billion metric tons in 2022. So huge uh, increase in last 30 years due to industrialization. Global temperature rise, obviously, global temperatures have rise and it has increased about 1.2% since 19th century. And over a period of time, it is believed that it can go up to 3 to 4% by the end of century, leading several impacts on ecosystem, agricultural and human communities. So you can see the graph at it was just around zero and below par, and then suddenly from 19th century onwards, it is rising at stagnant stage. Obviously, deforestation, loss of forest, which is affecting our nature. Deforestation accounts for nearly 10%. So if you can see this graph, it is little but still you can see there is nearly 10% of global carbon emission and affecting deforestation. Biodiversity loss, obviously, it is same International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, lists that nearly 28,000 species are at risk of extinction because of biodiversity loss. Plastic pollution, again, as we discussed in last thing, there is huge use of plastic in our regular life, which is affecting again uh, global environment. So we all should conserve our resources. We should cut down the use of plastic or anything which can harm our environment. Obviously, water scarcity is another big problem. Air pollution, obviously, we are facing this due to industrialization, vehicle emission, and all this causes huge air pollution. So now coming further, what is environmental sustainability? So again, the definition is meeting the needs of present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So key principle is conveying our ecosystems, responsible resource management, and promoting social and economic equity. So let's see some of the examples of environmental sustainability. So first thing, obviously, energy. We can always have renewable energy resources. So shift from fossil fuels like coal and all these things to renewable energy resources like solar, wind, geothermal, and hydropower is one of the most critical sustainable practices. Interestingly, you may find many examples of some of the foreign countries. When I made this presentation, I also came across there are many examples relating to Western countries, but very importantly, I could found one such data which our own SEBI releases, and I will show it further. So just have a look at how Western countries are far ahead. I'm not criticizing our own country, but in this regard, where environmental stability is concerned or green financing is concerned, they are much ahead in comparison with our own country. So, for example, Denmark generates over 50% of electricity from wind power. Next is solar power, and another kind of energy, solar power. We have seen, we have read about reports putting this kind of solar power by our own Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and you must have seen and read various pictures and news having acres of land in Gujarat covered with solar panels, and they are generating solar energy And in I guess in next 5 years we will be also have surplus for solar power. So large scale of solar powers as well as integration of solar panels into buildings are becoming more common and common. Obviously, we spoke about that. Wind energy, this is where I think we are a little, I mean, uh, the Western countries are little ahead, considering wind energy option. So offshore wind farms like those of coast of Germany and UK, again, Germany and UK are expanding rapidly. So we are not lagging far, but still, in comparison with we are just starting having focused on environmental sustainability and green finance. So energy efficiency, now we are using LED lighting, smart grids, high efficiency appliances, which will reduce our energy consumption. Second is agriculture. Since India is predominantly an agricultural-based economy, we should also look at the alternative options, which will again help our economy, help our environment to have safe and safe sustainability. So first is organic farming. So organic farming reduces chemical pesticides, fertilizers use, enhance biodiversity, and improves soil health. Farms such as Rodale Institute in the US promote regenerative agricultural practices, agroforestry, integrating trees with crops or livestock to improve biodiversity, reduce soil erosion, and sequester carbon. So again, Kenya is a good example in agroforestry. Vertical farming. Vertical farming, we all know Israel is much have gone further in vertical farming because of their some natural constraints. And this urban farming method is used to stack layers to grow crops indoor using less water and space compared to traditional agriculture. So one of the major country is Israel in this precision agricultural is also one of the thing. The third thing is waste management. Obviously, tons and tons of waste is we have to manage in whole country, whole world, and it has become a big management issue across the globe. So what we can do in waste management, let's see that circular economy, recycling, reusing, and remanufacturing. So three are what I would like to highlight is recycling, reusing, and remanufacturing products to extend their life cycle. For example, companies like Patagonia focuses on repairing and recycling their products, reducing thus by reducing waste. Composting. Another option is converting organic waste into nutrient-rich compost helps to improve soil quality and reduces the need for synthetic fertilizers. Zero waste packaging. Brands like Unilever, so we also are aware that Unilever is basically we all know is Hindustan Unilever. The parent company is Unilever, are increasingly adopting packaging-free or recyclable packaging to reduce the waste. So these are some of the options. And the fourth one is very interesting. Technologies in digestion and inclination are used to convert non-recyclable waste into energy. So Sweden is another good example, which is a leader in waste to energy, with country improving waste to fuel its energy needs. So all these things we should take into consideration. We should use such options while environmental stability. And again, going further, we should invest in such projects, which in projects or in companies where they promote these kind of things. So manufacturing, fourth is manufacturing. So sustainable materials, using sustainable, renewable and recycled materials in products such as bamboo, hemp or recycled plastic. Another good example is Tesla. We all know Elon Musk and Tesla uses sustainable materials in electric vehicles, focusing on reducing environmental impact of production. Green manufacturing processes, 3D printing. These are help in our motto. Transportation. So electric vehicles, one of the newest thing in the globe is electric vehicles. Company like Tesla, Nissan. We have companies like Mahindra, Tata, all our Indian brands also are coming into this segment, which will help us reduce pollution, air pollution, which will reduce use of fossil fuels and lower carbon emissions. Public transportation and cycling infrastructure. So cities like Copenhagen, Amsterdam are famous. They have separate lanes for bikes, and they are promoting their citizens, people around their country to use more and more public transport and cycling. Biofuels and hydrogen. Airlines and shipping companies. Airlines is one of the biggest cause of air pollution, and shipping companies obviously are exploring biofuels and hydrogen as sustainable alternatives to conventional jet fuel and diesel to protect our motherland. Construction and real estate. So green building certifications, buildings that meet standards of such as LEED, Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, or BREEM, are designed to minimize energy use, water waste, and carbon footprints. Sustainable construction materials should be used. Passive house standards. These buildings are designed to require minimal energy for heating, cooling, and dramatically using energy consumption. So all these things, though looks like common, they have various other uses or other advantages which will help us stabilize our environment. Fashion thing, sustainable fashion companies like McCartney and Patagonia are known for using eco-friendly materials. For example, organic cotton, hemp, or recycled polyester for and ethical production methods. So now, not only in manufacturing sector or building construction or to conserve air, water pollution, and overall. Now, fashion industry also is taking steps, and they are thinking on how to reduce the pollution, how to recycle the manufactured products again over a period of time. So, clothing, recycling, and retail. So, these are two platforms, ThreadUp and Depop, encourage the resale and recycling of clothes, reducing waste and promoting a circular economy in fashion. Obviously, food and beverages, we all know the packaging, uh, food itself have huge impact. Companies like Meat and Impossible Foods are creating plant-based meat substitutes that reduces environmental impact of livestock farming. Supporting local farmers and seasonally reduces the carbon footprints associated with the transporting food long distances. Water conservation is the root cause, the root issue, because if we don't get good potable water, then all the problems relating to our health, relating to our country, relating to health, environmental health, will cause a huge destruction. So companies like Coca-Cola are working on reducing water usage in production and replenishing water resources in the areas where they operate. Technology, another good example, company like Google and Microsoft have made strides in using the renewable energy in power to power their data centers and explore carbon neutral options. Tourism. So all these factors are contributing to have environmental sustainability. So now we come to the part, what is green finance? So definition we have already seen investment that contribute to environmental sustainability by supporting projects, companies, and policies that address environmental challenges. For example, examples of green finance instruments are green bonds, sustainable investment funds, green loans, and environmental risk financing. So obviously, first is green bonds. So like normal bonds, there are green bonds issued particularly for financing environmental projects. So we get fixed income when we invest in such kinds of bonds like normal bonds. But the purpose is over here very clear. They will finance only and only environmental projects. So sustainable investment funds. We also have ESG in India, funds that prioritize environmental, social, and governance. So this is a new mantra of investing, and there are many funds like Kotak, SBI in India, who are almost every fund is having this ESG fund in their portfolio. So we can definitely invest in ESG fund to protect our environment. Markets. So we must have seen companies, airline companies or shipping companies who are emitting maximum CO2. There are strict rules. Those who have high kind of emission have to use carbon credit. They have to purchase carbon credit, and the benefit goes to the companies who are having carbon credit at their account, and so they can earn money in this barter. So carbon credit, one has to sell this carbon credit, for the other has to purchase carbon credit. So best example is airline companies. They have to they have at most of the times they have to purchase this carbon credit. Carbon credit is in simpler terms, जितना pollution, जितना emission कंपनी करती है, उसके अगेंस्ट जो नॉर्मल स्टैंडर्ड्स के ऊपर रहता है, उसके अगेंस्ट उनको उतना पैसा दे के मार्केट से कार्बन क्रेडिट खरीदना पड़ता है. For example, to have a very simple understanding, I use real estate projects. जैसे हमारे यहाँ मुंबई में बहुत सारा रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट में रीडेवलपमेंट होता है. सो दे हैव टू बाय दिस पीडीआर, राइट. सो वो कैसे करते हैं कि वो अलग जगह से बाय करते हैं. सो उनके अकाउंट में उतना लैंड एक्सेस, वो उतना एक्सेस एक्सेस डेवलपमेंट कर सकते हैं कि अगेंस्ट वो लोग अथॉरिटीज को पैसा देते हैं. सो सेम प्रिंसिपल अप्लाइज हियर. नेक्स्ट इज ग्रीन लोन्स एंड फाइनेंसिंग. Loans with preferential terms to support again eco-friendly projects or businesses. So what global initiatives we have been discussing environmental stability, green finance, but there has to be some agencies or global initiatives and policies driving green finance, and thus by promoting environmental stability. So there is a Paris Agreement on climate change, which is very famous in this regard, promoting investment in climate solutions. The EU Green Deal and its financing tools. Another central bank's role in integrating sustainability into financing regulations. For example, Bank of England's approach to green finance, UN SDGs, aligning green finance with sustainable development goals. So not only we have been speaking over the issues and causes and what alternatives we can do, but global agencies and global central banks are also taking steps to achieve this. So how green finance support environmental sustainability? So basically, financing clean project like solar, wind, hydrothermal, sustainable infrastructure development, green buildings, public transport, biodiversity conservation and restoration efforts, carbon offset projects, and neutral nature-based solutions. So we have discussed all these things. Now, one of the best example is case studies. For successful green finance initiatives, green bond issues by large corporations or governments. So, like normal bonds, there are green bonds, which are powerful financial tools used to raise capital for environmental projects. These bonds are designed specifically to fund projects that have positive environmental impact, such as renewable energy, energy efficiency, sustainable water management, and green building projects. So, sometime in my earlier presentation, I was saying I found only and only data from SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, saying that green debt securities, green bonds. So, major, this is a little blurred picture. So I'll read it out. L&T Infrastructure Finance Corporation and Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency. So these are only two listed agencies, L&T and Indian Renewable Energy Development. Other are state government, state-owned institutions. For example, Ghaziabad and Ahmedabad, Indore, and things like that. So that's what I was about. I was saying we have just started taking steps into environmental sustainability and green finance. But we have largely ESG schemes in our India where we can promote and can invest our funds into these schemes. So another globally, some of the examples of green finance. So issuance of bonds is EIB, that is European Investment Bank, has been a pioneer in green bonds, issuing its first green bond in 2007. Since then, it has continued to issue a significant volume of green bonds to finance projects that contribute to climate change mitigation and adaptation. So, which are the key projects funded by EIB? So, renewable energy projects, energy efficient building upgrades, sustainable transportation system, and carbon capture and storage projects. So, success factor, transparency and accountability. Obviously, they have this, and they should adhere to the guidelines issued by European Union. They are one of the market leaders because of the thing they have started and is the first of its kind, and they have started in way back in 2007. What is the impact of these EIB's green bonds? By 2020, EIB, European Investment Bank, has issued over 30 billion euros in green bonds, funding over 350 green projects across Europe and beyond. The green bonds help fund projects that contribute to European Union's climate goals, reducing emission and improving environmental sustainability. EIB Green Bond model has been replicated by other governmental and corporate issuers, establishing a robust green bond market that continues to grow. One thing I would like to highlight is high these projects, environmental sustainability projects, require so much of funding because to set up the plant itself requires huge capital, and so it is not only a person or only one group can contribute to all these things. Overall, public and private participation, it is therefore very essential to have these kind of projects. Then only we can have environmental sustainability, green finance, and green earth. Another example is Apple Incorporation. So in 2016, Apple has become one of the first major corporations to issue green bonds. It raised $1.5 billion in highly successful offering to fund environmental projects across its global operations. So we are there ki renewable energy infrastructure for Apple data center. So they have used it for themselves and for corporate offices, energy efficient product design and recycling program, low carbon transportation initiatives. So success factors are obviously Apple's commitment. We know huge respect for Apple products and their management. So they are also adhering to the principles laid down by US regulators, Fed, and all the concerned authorities. Clean environmental goals, investor demand. Basically, all this works on demand and supply factor. So impact is Apple's green bond issuance not only help and fund renewable energy and sustainable projects, but also reinforce its broader corporate strategy of becoming carbon neutral by 2030. It sent a strong signal to the market that major corporations can successfully tap into green finance to fund their sustainability goals. The bond issuance helped further solidify the demand for green finance products, pushing other major corporations to consider green bond issuance as a viable financing option for sustainability projects. Obviously, there cannot be only goody things, and it's not. It will never happen. We don't have challenges in having green finance. Obviously, there will be challenges. There will be hurdles, and so let's look at some of the challenges in having raising green finance. So, biggest greenwashing. So, what is greenwashing? Refers to practice where companies or financial institutions exaggerate or falsely claim their product, services, or investment are environmental friendly or sustainable. So, this is one of the biggest challenge faced by to raise green finance. Companies give false claims and about their product services, or they falsely mention many a times mention that we have environmental friendly or sustainable projects, and for that reason they may raise capital from public. So, key issues relating to greenwashing, why this happened, is lack of standardized definition and regulations. One of the biggest challenges in combating greenwashing in absence of universally accepted definition of what constitutes green or sustainable in the financial sector. So, across the globe, there is no single definition to define what is green or what is sustainable. In absence of that, every state, every corporation, or every company having their own set of regulations, they were issuing these bonds and raising capital, but against false claims. So different countries, regions, and organizations may have their own criteria and guidelines, as I have said. For instance, a company might claim its product is eco-friendly without providing a specific evidence of how it meets environmental standards, or without verifying that underlying projects truly reduce emission or environmental damage. Second is misleading marketing and labeling. Sometimes companies or financial products claim to be green, sustainable, or environmentally responsible, but don't back up these claims with credible data or certifications. This can include vague language such as eco-friendly, green, or sustainable without clear explanations or proof. So I would like to highlight one good example. I'm not aware how many of you are around are aware of the fact in 2000, in year 2000, Y2K, which was famously known as, every company, it was in India particularly, there was a IT boom, and every company used to have IT or IT solutions or something like that in their name. So people believed, because of IT boom, people believed these companies also relate to IT sector and they started investing in that companies, which again had major default because those companies were false. They have all their false products, false claims, and people lost huge kind of their capital by investing in these companies. So this will help you understand how companies can mislead marketing or labeling their products. Obviously, lack of transparency because there are no strict and guidelines for greenwashing. Obviously, there is lack of transparency and reporting to whom company or corporation or any this corporate to whom they should report is not mentioned. That's why they can, I mean, lack of transparency and reporting is a major issue. Next is inconsistent monitoring and verification. Many green finance products don't undergo a third-party verification. Like we have third-party audit in our Indian companies. We have rule saying you should audit your accounts by third-party auditor. Likewise, because of absence of this clause, inconsistent monitoring and verification is not done. So this is again a major problem. So example is a company if company issues green bonds to fund renewable energy product, but there is no third party auditing or verification on project's environmental impact. Investor may mistakenly believe they are contributing to the objective. So, real world example. This is very famous case. What has been happened in the case of VW, that is Volkswagen emission scandal. This is, I think, 7, 8 years back. Volkswagen is a major brand in auto, and they were saying they are adhering to the emission standards and on So basically, they were falsely saying we will are adhering to emission standards, but in fact, the vehicles giving emission, having air pollution was way above the standard level of emission, and in the effect of that, Volkswagen company across the globe ordered their dealers and company outlets to recall almost some crores cars for making emission standard fixed that fault to fix. They recalled almost some crores of cars across the globe. This was the real case example. And the effect of this is cascading effect of this. Our one of the our Indian company, Motherson Sumi, who is in auto ancillary and was supplying parts to Volkswagen. They were also impacted. They faced some scrutiny. Their market value gone down substantially. Their shares crashed because of this emission scandal. So it is not only the Volkswagen, the parent company, but the company who provided the parts and who were the dealers for Volkswagen, they also faced inquiry. So example two is some corporations have been accused of issuing green bonds that fund projects that are not as environmental friendly as claimed. So obviously these are very common things. Impact of greenwashing on green finance. So, due to all these cases, investors' trust was lost, delayed progress on sustainability goals because once investors' trust is lost, this is a chain reaction. So, delayed in progress because why delayed in project, your company will not get capital to finance their goals reputational damage. Obviously, we discussed about Volkswagen. So, what we can do to combat greenwashing? Stronger, obviously, stronger regulation and standards. government and regulatory bodies need to establish clearer definitions and rules globally for what constitutes a green or sustainable product. So, in absence of these regulations, greenwashing happened. To combat this, governments globally or regulatory bodies should have a stricter and clear definition about what constitutes a green or sustainable product. Obviously, independent certification or third-party verification, third-party audit should be done. So, what causes green finance is the same. We should, every company, every organization should have third-party verification, transparency, and reporting. Financial institutions should be required to disclose more detailed information on the use of proceeds from green financial products, where we are in where the company is using the proceeds that were collected from the public for the green financial products, including expected environmental outcome, which is of most important objective of this whole topic, timeline, regular process reports. Investors should have access to clear data on environmental impact of their investment, including measurable outcomes such as CO2 emission reductions or energy savings. Now, this financial risk and uncertainty, since we are talking about green finance, there obviously financial risk and uncertainties in green investment also. So let's look at some of the regulatory and policy risk, uncertainty in policy change, government changes. Accordingly, new government will have new policies. So, green investments are heavily influenced by green government regulations, incentives, and policies such as tax credit or renewable energy or carbon pricing. Technological adoption, emerging technologies, and uncertain returns. Many green investments, particularly in clean energy, rely on newer or evolving technologies such as advanced solar power panels, battery storage, or carbon capture. These technologies may not yet commercially be proven, meaning there is a significant uncertainty about their long-term performance or cost, which are the two major factors for your investment to go haywire. If company adopts such policies, then the investment is at stake. If a green technology fails to meet the expectations, it can lead financial losses for investor, obviously. So while electrical vehicles and renewable energy technologies have shown great promise, there are risks tied to unproven or immature technologies such as performance of next generation battery storage solutions or scalability of green hydrogen production. Market demand and supply, fluctuations in market demand, success of green investment are often tied with obviously market demand. Not only in green finance, but for every product, every services, demand supply ratio is of most importance. Market demand may be volatile, driven by changes in consumer behavior. These are factors, economic conditions, or competitive forces. For instance, in times of economic downturn, consumers may prioritize cost over sustainability, leading to lower demand for green products and services. Financing and capital access risk. So capital availability and financing cost. So we discussed this point. Green projects often require significant upfront capital investment, and securing financing can be a challenge, particularly for small or early stage companies in emerging markets. While green bonds and other green finance tools have gained popularity, some green investment, especially in developing countries, may face high financing costs due to perceived risk and lack of access or to capital. Okay. So example is in emerging economies, where financing may be less developed project and sectors. Sorry. such as renewable energy, may face difficulties accessing affordable capital. This could result in higher financing costs, making project less viable. Environmental climate risk. Physical risk from climate change. Another factor, while green investment aim to mitigate climate change, some projects can be vulnerable to physical risks associated with climate change itself, such as extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and shifts in temperature. For example, renewable energy infrastructure like wind farms, solar panel may be affected by changing weather patterns, droughts, or flooding. So these are some of the examples. Liquidity risk, limited liquidity in green assets, uh, because one of the most important factor is it is less famous, or we can say it is not anticipated by everyone. Or it is not in everyone's portfolio. That is why it has limited liquidity in green asset. Green investments such as those in green bonds or private equity funds focus on sustainable project may be less liquid than traditional investment because people don't have that kind of risk profile. People don't understand these products so easily, and that's why there is liquidity is there, but it is limited in comparison to traditional investments. So investor may face challenges while trying to sell the assets quickly or at a fair price, especially in markets that are less developed or for projects with longer term horizons. There is common rule. We do make kind of investment on their pressure also. So somebody says कि अरे नहीं ये प्रोजेक्ट में मैंने इन्वेस्ट किया है, ये ग्रीन फाइनेंसिंग है और अच्छा है, मैंने इन्वेस्ट किया है, चलो तू भी कर। और ऐसा करके हम लोग करते हैं without understanding the risk, the time horizon, the cost involved, and our own risk profile. So these all contribute to liquidity in green assets. Yeah, it has to be performance and return uncertainty. Because of all these factors, there is long-term horizon and unpredictable returns. So green investment, particularly in areas like renewable energy or sustainable agricultural, often require a longer investment horizons to see returns. In addition, expect financial returns may be more uncertain due to external factors such as fluctuating commodity prices, environment, competition from conventional energy sources, or regulatory changes. Reputation and ESG, environmental, social, and governance risk. Green investments often overlap with the broader environmental, social, and governance goals. If an investment that is marketed as green later turns out unsustainable or linked to harmful practices, for example, poor labor conditions or environmental degradation, it could harm the reputation of investors involved and lead to reputational risk. Currency and geopolitical risk. All these risks are intermingled. They go hand in hand, and it is like a chain reaction. So one will lead to another, another will lead to third, and so on and so forth. So green investment in emerging markets are often more vulnerable to currency volatility and geopolitical instability. Political unrest, economic fluctuations, or changes in international relations can create additional risk for investors in green projects, particularly those focused on renewable energy or infrastructure. All said and done, we have seen the pros and cons of environmental sustainability, green finance, what is environmental sustainability, what is green finance, the pros and cons. Still, the future of green finance and we should adhere to green finance going forward. This is going to be the major financing arena or major financing opportunity for corporates as well as for investors. As the green finance sector continues to evolve, technological innovation are playing an increasingly important role in improving transparency, enhancing impact measurement, and making green investments accessible. So, two innovations that are shaping the future of green finance. So, blockchain for transparency and accountability. I'm not very much specialized in blockchain technology, so I will read out this. So, blockchain technology often associated with cryptocurrencies. We all know that, like Bitcoin, which is famous crypto, has potential to revolutionize the green finance sector by improving transparency, traceability, and accountability. Traceability is one of the most important feature of blockchain. Blockchain offers a decentralized, immutable ledger, which means all the transactions and data entries are recorded in a way that it cannot be altered or tampered with. So traceability of green investment through blockchain. So blockchain can help track the flow of funds raised to green bonds or other financial products, ensuring the capital is being used exclusively for environmental sustainable projects. So the best example is if an organization issues green bonds to renewable energy projects, blockchain can provide an auditable trail of how each dollar or each rupee is allocated, ensuring that no funds are diverted to non-green activities. Verification of sustainability claims. So another point is of the challenges in green finance is greenwashing, where companies make misleading claims about the environmental impact. Blockchain can provide an immutable record of sustainability certifications, audits, and environmental performance data, which allows stakeholders to verify whether company claims are true. So these two points, with help of AI, can boost green finance or can avoid greenwashing, reducing fraud and increase. So blockchain obviously can trace all the data. It helps in blockchain's decentralized nature helps to reduce the risk of fraud and enhance trust among investors, especially in markets or projects with regulatory oversight. Tokenization of green assets. So what it is blockchain also enables the tokenization of green assets such as renewable energy certifications, carbon credits, or even entire green projects. These tokens can be traded on digital platforms, creating new ways for investors to gain exposure to sustainable assets and increasing the liquidity of green finance projects. IBM's green bond blockchain project, famous case example. So IBM has collaborated with few partners to create a blockchain platform to track the use of green bond proceeds, how they are used, how they meticulously are following the guidelines and everything. The next is AI, so intelligence for impact measurement and risk assessment. So AI technologies, including machine learning and big data analytics, are rapidly transforming how green finance operates. AI can help assess the environmental impact of investments, predict financial outcomes, and improve decision-making process. With access to vast amount of data, AI can provide more accurate and timely insights into the performance and sustainability of projects. So technological advantages are stated here. So advanced impact of measurement. one of the key challenges. For example, AI can analyze satellite images and track deforestation rates in areas funded by green investments or measure the energy saving in building for efficiency, providing more accurate and granular understanding of environmental impact. Likewise, predictive analytics for risk management. AI-powered models can help investors understand and mitigate risk associated with the green investments by analyzing historical data, economic trends, and environmental factors. AI can predict the potential risk of climate change, such as extreme weather events or change in resources availability, could affect the profitability and sustainability of green projects. Enhanced ESG. AI can improve the accuracy of ESG, that is environmental, social, and governance ratings and scoring by analyzing vast amount of unstructured data such as new articles, social media posts, and company reports to assess companies' environmental and social impact, automating and streamlining process. So what AI can assist? AI and blockchain can assist. So Google's AI for climate prediction. Google has been using AI and machine learning to improve climate predictions, helping businesses and governments anticipate the impact of climate change. So, let's see what technological advantages can impact, how they can impact green finances positively, obviously, to have sustainable environment, which will in turn give handsome returns to investors for achieving their goals. So finally, the conclusion, environmental sustainability and green finance are intertwined, and green finance is essential for building a sustainable future. So encourage everyone around you to explore opportunities in sustainable investing, policies, and supporting green initiatives. Thank you so much. I end my presentation here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful and enlightening session. Your expertise has helped us to understand the crucial role of green finance in today's world. Now, let's move to the Q&A session. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand or type your questions in the chat box.
I think all have understood it very well, or none of one has understood it. Basically, frankly speaking, I'm not saying, I mean, on a lighter note, I have said that, but basically, this is very wide, vast topic. And like I said, in India, it is upcoming thing, not much into green financing, though we are at some point of time, government and organizations and corporations are taking steps for environmental stability. The green finance portion is little less, what we can say, less famous, or people don't look at it as a finance option to have it in their portfolio.
Since there are no questions from our participants at the moment, before we conclude, I would now like to invite Professor Chetna Shah, Madam, to express our gratitude to our esteemed speaker and all attendees.
Good morning, everyone. I am Professor Chetna Shah from Accounting and Finance Department. It is my honor to deliver the vote of thanks for today's enlightening session on green finance, which was conducted by our esteemed speaker, Mr. Amol Pimplekar. On behalf of our college, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to him for sharing his deep knowledge and expertise on this critical subject. Sir, your session not only enhanced our understanding of sustainable investment, green bonds, and ESG principles, but also shed light on how financial institutions and businesses can contribute to a greener and more sustainable future. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. S.V. Sant Madam for their guidance and support. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Dr. S.B. Karande sir, whose constant support and vision have made events like this possible. I would like to thank our Vice Principal, Dr. Mahesh Auti sir, for his guidance and support. I extend my gratitude to Professor M.B. Chauhan sir for executing this event. A special thanks to our coordinator, Professor Kavita Dange Madam, for her constant guidance and support. I extend my gratitude to Ms. Nidhi Shah for introducing our guest speaker. A special thanks to Ms. Himanshi Mehta for her invaluable technical support. Her expertise ensured that today's session ran smoothly. Thank you, Arnav Pawar, for comparing such a wonderful session. I extend my gratitude to all the faculties for their active support. Last but not the least, a big thank you to all the students who attended today's session with such enthusiasm. Wishing you all a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Chitna Madam, for such kind words of appreciation. Heartfelt thanks to our speaker, faculty members, and students for making the virtual session a great success. Let's continue our journey towards greener and more sustainable world together. The Green Finance activity organized by Accounting and Finance Department will begin shortly. All participants are requested to join via links shared in the WhatsApp groups. Please check the group and make sure to participate. Wishing you all a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.